In this lesson, we're going to be adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. In the first example, as we are adding, we just want you to know that this is combining like terms. So we have to make sure that the terms are alike that we are putting together. For example, we have x to the fourth and 2x to the fourth. So I have one of these and two of these. So I would have 3x to the fourth. There are no other 2x cubes, so I will just write that down, and then I'm adding 8 and negative 9 together, which would be negative 1. Please make sure after you have combined all like terms that your answer, your final polynomial, is written in standard form. Let's try another example. So the largest I have is 12x to the fifth, and I'm going to combine that with a negative 2x to the fifth. 12 and negative 2 would be 10x to the fifth. Please remember that your base, variable, and exponent do not change. We're just adding the coefficients that are in the front. Next, I have a 14x to the fourth, and I don't have anything else that goes with that. Next, I have a negative 10x cubed with no other x cubes. I do not have any x squareds, so I'm going to move on to the x's. So I have a negative 6x and a positive 10x, which is going to give me a positive 4x. And I'll finish with my constant terms. So I have a negative 4 and a positive 2, which gives me a negative 2. My final answer, after I've combined like terms and added these two polynomials together, and it is written in standard form. The next example we're going to do is subtraction. Please remember that subtraction really is addition, but we're adding the opposite. So each of these terms inside the second set of parentheses becomes the opposite sign. In other words, we're distributing the negative. So now this problem becomes exactly like the first examples. So we have our negative 3x to the fourth and a negative 11x to the fourth, which gives us negative 14x to the fourth. We have 10x squared and negative 3x squared, which is 7x squared, since we didn't have any x cubes. And now we have an 8x that's left and a 7 that's left. And that we have now combined like terms. We've put them in standard form, and that is our final answer. In the next example, we want to make sure again that we're distributing that negative sign. So we're changing this to a plus as we distribute a negative, distribute a negative, distribute a negative. So now when we combine like terms, 9x to the fourth and negative 3x to the fourth will be 6x to the fourth. There's a negative 12x cubed and a positive 12x cubed. Those will have a sum of 0. We have an x squared. We have an x. And we have a negative 8. So after we have combined like terms, that is our final answer. And it is written in standard form. Multiplying you've done before, and so we're just going to FOIL if we have two binomials. So we have first 2x times x would be 2x squared. We have outside 2x times 5 would be 10x. Inside, negative 1 times x is negative x. And the last, negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Then we combine like terms, writing our final answer in standard form. And that has multiplying two binomials together using FOIL. In the second example, we're still going to be multiplying using the distributive property, but we have a binomial times a trinomial. So we still need to be careful about our organization. So x times 2x will be 2x cubed, and x squared multiplied as x cubed. Then we have x times x, which is x squared. And then we have x times negative 5, which is negative 5x. Then we have 1 times 2x squared. 1 times x, and 1 times negative 5. Now we're going to combine like terms and write our final polynomial in standard form. So we have 2x cubed, then we have an x squared and a 2x squared, which will be positive 3x squared. We have a negative 5x and a positive x, which gives us negative 4x, and then we have negative 5. So we've written this in standard form after we've combined like terms. In our next example, we're multiplying 3 binomials together. The way that we do that is we have to do only 2 at a time. So we'll start by FOILing the first 2. So we have x squared, and then we have a negative x, and a negative 2x, and negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Then we combine like terms, so we have x squared minus 3x plus 2. Now we'll bring down that last binomial and we can multiply. So when we multiply, we have x squared times x, which is x cubed, x squared times 3, which is 3x squared, negative 3x times x, which is negative 3x squared, negative 3x times 3 is negative 9x, then we have 2 times x, which is 2x, and 2 times 3, which is 6. And then we are going to combine like terms together. So we have an x cubed, then we have a 3x squared and a negative 3x squared, which will have a sum of 0. Then we have a negative 9x and a positive 2x, which is a negative 7x, and finally 6. We have multiplied 3 binomials together, making sure you're multiplying only 2 at a time, and then multiply your answer by the third. So, would you please complete example number 6, and remember that if you have an example like letter B, that 5a plus 2 to the second power means 5a plus 2 times 5a plus 2. There are 2 of them, and that needs to be FOILed. You cannot just bring the exponent in. So likewise, when you have 2m minus 3 to the third power, that means there are 3 of them. And you need to multiply 2 at a time, and then you need to multiply by the third. All right, please finish those examples and submit your notes.